Good day. My name is Engineer Sikhumbuzo Ncube. I'm the Acting Director of Engineering Services in the city of Bulawayo. I'm glad to share with you the services that we do provide in the Water Division, which is a branch under Engineering Services. Engineering Services consists of two branches, the Water branch as well as the Roads branch. Today, we are going to share more on the Water branch services. Our presentation will be in four parts. First, we'll share the infrastructure overview, and then the services that are being provided in engineering services under Water branch, the current strategies and projects that are ongoing, and then finally, the plans that we have in the near future. Starting off with the infrastructure overview. Our city is supplied with 6 supply dams which are located to the south of the city. These are namely Insiza, Inyankuni, Upper Ncema, Lower Ncema, Umzingwane, and Umchabezi dams. To the northwest of the city, water is also drawn from groundwater. We have an aquifer called the Nyamandlovu Aquifer. The Nyamandlovu Aquifer was originally established in 1992 when 77 bores were drilled. This was during a drought. Just recently, February 2021, there was the commissioning of additional 20 high-yielding bores in the Epping Forest, which is an extension of the Nyamandlovu Aquifer. So the combination of Nyamandlovu and the 6 supply dams have the capacity of giving us an aggregated water supply of 165 megaliters a day. We also come to the water treatment plants that treat water for the city of Bulawayo. We have Ncema. Ncema was commissioned in 1940 with a capacity of 80 megaliters of water that it can treat per day. But currently, due to its old age, it's giving us around 45% of that design capacity. There is also Criterion Water Treatment Plant. First, it was commissioned in 1973 with the capacity to treat 90 megaliters of water per day. It was then later expanded in 1987 with an additional 90 megaliters of water. Now, adding it up, it gives us 180 megaliters of water. These are the 2 treatment plants that treat potable, safe water and supplying it into the city. Now, Ncema Water Treatment Plant pumps its water through 2 booster stations. One is Ncema, which boosts water to Fernhill, an intermediate booster station, which then pumps water to Tuli. Tuli Reservoir forms one of the 6 critical supply reservoirs. We call them distribution reservoirs. There are 6 of them. Tuli supplies water to the eastern suburbs of the city, most of them. Then treated water at Criterion, it's a 90 megaliter reservoir. It supplies water to Makwekwe Reservoir, which is a 108 megaliter reservoir, which supplies around 36% of the western suburbs demand. Then we have other reservoirs. which is Hillside, 6J, and Rifle Range, which are dotted around the city. Almost all this water gravitates to all our residents. Coming to the network in the city. The city is comprised of a water network of 2,365 kilometers and 1,467 kilometers of sewer network. Just to give you an idea of how long that network is, you can drive from here to Durban. That will give you around 2,400 kilometers. This is how long the water network is in the city. The age of the network is continuously deteriorating. Over 60% of the water network is now over 55 years old. And it's a moving target if no meaningful interventions or investments are carried out. It is comprised of different pipe materials. The old earthenware, clay pipes are still there underground and still in use. We have also the polyvinyl chloride pipes or PVC pipes also serving the city. The asbestos cement pipes that are also comprising of almost 70% of the current network, although they are now being replaced to some extent as during projects and also when we have pipe bursts and leaks. The connections in the city are over 165,000 citywide. Now, after having shared the network, we also come to the wastewater treatment plants that treat water, actually the wastewater in the city. We have 10 of these. There is Waterford, is the smallest. We have Southern Areas Sewage Treatment Plant, which is to the southern of the city, serving Ganini, Pumuda, Nketa, Gulumane, and a bit of Chabalala as well. It's in two parts. There is Plant 1 and Plant 2. We'll get into detail of what has happened at SAST under the projects that will follow that we'll discuss. There is also Magwegwe. Magwegwe are ponds. These are facultative ponds. Some know them as lagoons. Another form of lagoons are the Country Park ponds as well. There is also Luveve, sewage treatment plant. And then the AZLB sewage treatment plants. They are in three parts. There is AZLB 1, AZLB 2, and AZLB 3. So in total, finally, there is also the Thorn Grove wastewater treatment plant, which is mainly serving the industrial and a bit of your residential from the neighboring Thorn Grove and other areas that are around there. So in total, this forms your the 10 sewage treatment plants. They have a capacity of treating 80 megaliters of wastewater in the city. Now, coming to the services that are being provided under the water division, we have 5 sections, each being headed by a principal officer. Some are officers, some are engineers. The first is the office that looks into supplies. Supplies is a section that deals with the bulk water from the dams, the treating of that water, its conveyance, maintenance of the dams, water treatment at Nemite Fernhill, and also it's responsible for the wastewater treatment plants, the safe discharge of that effluent into our environment. Those that are interested in the buying of sludge. We do sell sludge from our wastewater treatment plants as part of manure. That is one of the services that we do and provide. Coming to another section, which is a distribution section. Distribution, as the name suggests, is predominantly the transportation of water, which is clean water after it has been treated, into this network that we have just mentioned, the 2,365 kilometers of water network. And also the drainage of the wastewater after it has been used in the various households, industry, commerce institutions into the treatment plants. So it's water, transportation, and wastewater drainage. Some of the services that are provided in the distribution section do include, if you are interested in water and sewer connections, we provide that service. Water and sewer mains extensions, borehole drilling. There are details that we can share with you. You can also find some of this information on our city website in detail. Fire connections, we do work in conjunction with other departments in that area as well. And a number of other services that we do also provide, but here we're just sharing the major ones that stakeholders are mainly interested in. Another area that we need to highlight is the state of our dams. As of the 5th of July 2022, the dam levels were at 54.1%. They continued to decrease in their levels, and this will get worse as we enter into the drier months of August, September, October, and November before the onset of the rain season. The city introduced water shedding on the 10th of June 2022. Currently, we are at the 24-hour water shedding, with the hope that if the demand is managed within the acceptable limits that we've set of 150 megaliters of water, this regime of 24-hour shedding will be maintained up until we get into the water months of August. This is when we can then review this regime of 24 hours and possibly consider the 48-hour. 48-hour water shedding means the city will now be receiving water 5 of the 7 days in a week. We are encouraging our residents to continue to conserve water, desist from using hose pipes, and stick to the allocations that are there. 450 liters per household in the high-density suburbs. An example of a high-density suburb, Makokova, Pumuda, Kulumane, those are our high-density suburbs. The low-density suburbs, if you stay in Machamhlope, Hillside, the allocation is 650 liters per day. Usage of water within these allocations will not attract any penalties. However, if any overusage of consumption is detected, penalties do come into effect. The system so far, as we have mentioned, is designed to give the city around 165 megaliters of water. That is when our dams are full, and Nyamandlovu is giving its maximum of 15 megaliters of water. However, we do have challenges in the city. Previously, in the 80s and the 90s, it was a known fact that the drought would be realized or would be an event that you would see after every 10 years. From 2000 to 2010, that slightly changed, and they became more frequent, 5 years, 5 years. And again in 2010 to current, the current data indicates that droughts have become even more frequent. It's now almost every other 3 years you don't have good rains in the city. The last that we got of good rains was in the year 2017. So far, in the last 2 years, our dams have never been full. The last rains that we received in March, our dams were at 70%. And we then do encourage our residents to continue to conserve water. We do have a number of challenges, of course, as a city. Some of them we usually then share with you on our media, different platforms, newspapers, WhatsApp and other, Facebook and Twitter. Challenges like power outages, pump breakdowns, leaks and bursts. These are some of the challenges that we do face. But one of the major challenges that is now coming in the fore is the high usage of water. Demand is going up. Giving an example, in 2011, the city's demand was around 110 megaliters of water. It went up to around 125 megaliters of water around 2015. But guess what? Now, as we speak, our demand is hovering around 160, 155, 160 megaliters. So it's on a sharp rise. And it's something that we need to underline and manage together as a city. Another section that we do have in the water branch is the water quality monitoring and assurance. This is a very critical section. Its role is very key to the safe delivery of potable water to every resident in the city of Bulawayo. Its use is mainly the monitoring of water, its quality, both chemical and bacteriological. The monitoring is done very frequently, daily. When the water is treated at the 2 treatment plants, there is the monitoring of the residual chlorine that is in the water. As the water is released into the reservoirs, water is supposed to be stored in these reservoirs at 2 milligrams a liter of chlorine. This concentration of chemical of chlorine is reduced as the water travels or is being transported in the system because of various impurities or other demands for the chlorine in the system. But it's designed in such a way that by the time it gets to the tap, there is still enough and safe chlorine for anyone to use or to drink that water. It's still safe. As well as at the distribution reservoirs, we have installed some dosing equipment to continuously maintain the chlorine at the optimum level so that if there's any reduction, it is boosted at each of these sections to continue to give our residents clean and safe water. The monitoring of also any contamination is the responsibility of this section through the different labs that are located, one for potable water at the Criterion water treatment plant, and for wastewater at the Wastewater lab, the microbiological lab to detect or monitor issues to do with wastewater. Another section that is there is the electromechanical section. Electromechanical, as the name suggests, is a section that is responsible for the maintenance of all the equipment that is there in the city, be it in engineering services, the pumps, the motors, coming even to the street lights, the traffic lights. It also does provide services to other departments. For example, in the health services department, there are cold rooms that do store some of our very key vaccines like the COVID vaccine. We do have our key staff maintaining be it the cold rooms, the refrigeration, the generators that do provide power to these critical services. So it provides operation and maintenance of all this critical equipment across the city. Another section is the projects section. Projects, as the name suggests, this is where all the design is done, contract management is done, construction supervision is done. The expertise that reside within that section are responsible for tendering of the projects, water and sewer projects, managing contractors, be it private developers or contractors, through regular meetings, production of reports, and also inspections. Inspections are an integral part of quality monitoring and, at the end of the day, producing quality services to our residents. This is a crucial section, as also even the evaluation of any proposals that do come into the city are also looked into. Another key section that probably we need also to look at is these of course cut across, is the strategic planning section. Strategic planning can be understood as the consultants of the engineering services department. They have the pulse of the city in terms of its needs. They assess, like what you see a doctor does, to assess, to check your BP. They also then check if there are any problems in the city. And then they come up with solutions, write proposals, look for funding, and then they hand over to the project. The other crucial section is the GIS section. The GIS is responsible for the mapping of all the infrastructure, the assets that are there in the city. Be it a water meter, be it even the dam itself. All these dams have been mapped under GIS to the point that all the detail that you require, the age of the dam, it has been captured. Give you an example even of a street light. If you click on a street light in Robert Mugabe, that street light will tell you the type of bulb, when it's supposed to be replaced. Here it's now talking to asset management. So GIS also plays a crucial role in complementing asset management in the city. So the assets, all the assets in the city are captured and recorded with all the attribute data under the GIS section. GIS has also played a key role in the region. By region, I mean Matabeleland North, Matabeleland South, Bulawayo, and also Midlands. Through capacity building of the smaller cities that are around Bulawayo. So these are some of the key services that are being provided in the city of Bulawayo. Now coming to the third section of our presentation today is the current strategies that are in place in the city. I'll give you a brief background of where this is coming from. From year 2000 to year 2008, during the hyperinflationary period, there was less maintenance of the water and wastewater infrastructure. So deterioration crept in. But in 2010, the city went on to partner with eThekwini municipality and some other organizations from South Africa to secure funding. And then in 2013, a water and wastewater master plan was commissioned. This is a document that guides the city in terms of any investment, developments for the next 20 years up to 2032. So far, we have done 10 years of that. And just to share with you that under the water part of that master plan, a total of 121 million US dollars is required within the next 20 years for the city to be able to have upgraded, replaced all the old infrastructure that is there in the city. But as of 2021, last year, the city was expected to have expended or received funding to the tune of 390 million US dollars. But so far, as we'll share in a bit, not so much has been received to date. But that's what we receive, we are using to continuously sustain the infrastructure that is there. On wastewater, a total of 404 million US dollars is expected for the next 20 years. But discounting the immediate to short-term requirements from 2013 to 2017, around 175 million US dollars was supposed to have been received by the city of Bulawayo for the investment in wastewater infrastructure. But to date, from 2010, a number of funding through government, borrowing, loans, and grants, a total 71 million US dollars. I'll just mention a few. We secured a loan from IDBZ to the tune of 6.47 million. We had a Bowser donated program from the Australian government to the tune of 10 million. We had a BWAP program from UK Aid to the tune of 6 million. GIZ funding to the tune of 1.6 million. Bank ABC loan to the tune of 13.7 million. We have also Dutch funding from the Vitens Evidence International Waterworks to the tune of 250,000. This was the last 5 years. But recently, in February, we signed another 5-year program, so to the tune of 1.2 million US dollars. African Development Bank, this is the biggest funding that we have received so far since dollarization, to the tune of 33 million. I'll say 33 million because the difference of the 37 million is the contribution from the city of Bulawayo. And then the current funding streams that we will discuss. So in total, if we're going to consider the investments that we said we required by now, by 2022, there's a funding gap, a huge gap of 659 million US dollars that is required. However, in line with the city's vision of a smart and transformative city by 2024, we have not been sitting. A number of projects have been going on, and I'm here to highlight just a few of these. One flagship project is the African Development Bank grant. A number of projects have been done. 6 huge pumps were installed at Ncema in Fenio, 3 at Ncema, 3 at Fenio. These are huge pumps which deliver 90 megaliters of water a day, of raw water to Criterion. There is also the upgrading of the Criterion water treatment plant. Taking a tour of Criterion water treatment plant a few years back, you would notice that our operators would be running up and down, manually operating some of the crucial equipment. But thanks to the African Development Bank grant, some of these things they are doing in the comfort of their offices by pressing a few buttons to monitor and run the crucial. This is optimization of labor and efficiency. There is also telemetry and SCADA. Telemetry and SCADA is a concept where you monitor the services that you are providing remotely. For example, an operator at Criterion can see the pumps that are running at Ncema, at Fenio, and even get to the extent of switching them remotely, sitting in the office at Criterion. This is the transformation that we're talking of a smart city. Such also can be said of the southern areas sewage treatment plant. In 2000, it was supposed to be commissioned to come into operation, but we mentioned the hyperinflation, so nothing took off. But recently, in April of 2022, I'm also happy to announce that SAST was commissioned with the new equipment, new technology, and it now has a capacity to treat 21 megaliters of wastewater safely. The advantage of this is that it's got its downstream effects, benefits. If SAST drains its wastewater into Kami Dam. Kami Dam is an integral part of the infrastructure in the city of Bulawayo, in that water has the potential to produce at plus or minus 15 megaliters of recycled water. When this water is treated to secondary use, it can be used or utilized by the industry, such as the power generation. If you consider 15 megaliters being recycled and being used in industry, the same industry will then release 15 megaliters of water for other uses in the city. 15 megaliters is almost equivalent to water that we receive from Umchabezi Dam. So it's equivalent to a dam, so that it becomes an additional source of water automatically. One of the critical projects that we also benefited under the African Development Bank was the installation of 18,109 water meters, new water meters in the residence. 69 bulk meters were also installed. 174 kilometers of new water pipes were laid. That is driving from Bulawayo to Gweru. That is all network of pipes, new, that were laid in the city. 21 kilometers of wastewater pipes were laid. And in Cowdrey Park, Tlanani, the installation of 4,600 water meters that were procured under the same funding. And also, talking of smart, the installation of smart pressure reducing valves. Smart in the sense that you can now set a pressure rating for during the day and another pressure rating during the night. This reduces leaks, it reduces bursts. One key point to note is where the same PRV was installed in Chabalala, in Gwabalanda. In Gwabalanda, residents attest to the positive impact of such components that we have installed. That leaks and bursts have almost become a thing of the past. Very few interruptions. So imagine the whole city having pressure reducing valves, and we don't have to be shedding water through opening and closing of valves, but just by setting 2 pressure ratings across the city. That is being smart and transformative. Another key project that we have benefited from, we've mentioned Waterworks. It is now in the second phase of the other 5 years, so it's now going into 10 years. It's more on the softer side of benefits. What do I mean? Capacity building. 3 young engineers have benefited in a program called Young Engineers Professionals. 2 ladies and 1 male engineer have benefited, being exposed and interacting with over 25 countries worldwide. And this is a success story. 1 lady engineer benefited from the master's program in the Delft, Netherlands, and has already graduated and has come back. Another benefit of the Waterworks program are the exchange programs. Over the last 6 years, different experts from the Netherlands have been seconded to the city of Bulawayo in the areas of ICT, GIS, financial management, and also water demand management. We also have had our engineers being also seconded to the Netherlands to go and learn how first world countries run their systems. So these are some of the benefits that the Waterways program has brought to the city of Bulawayo. Also to mention on the physical equipment and benefits, a vehicle was also procured under this program. And 8,813 water meters have been installed in Tlalangutle and also in Tumbane. 1,722 of sewer connection materials have been procured, are in the process of being installed in Karikai Tlalangutle area in Country Park. Another funding that we've received, and also it's in progress, is under UNICEF funding, working in conjunction with Africa Ahead, and also the Swedish embassy, to the tune of almost 300,000. A number of benefits that we can mention is the procurement of protective clothing for our teams on the ground, tools and equipment, and also the equipment, the installation of meters in Kulumane, part of Nketa, and also recently there's work in progress in the laying of a new pipe to boost pressure of over 600 properties, 635 properties in Pumula Habik. I think those who stay in that area usually do not have water during the day. This should become a thing of the past if this pipeline is commissioned, including another area in Nkulumane, just after Ntemba traffic lights. There is another area there that experiences low pressure. Coming to Makokoba, Makokoba has been having challenges in wastewater, sewer blockages. The engineers, together with Africa Aid, analyzed where this bottleneck was. And as I am presenting you today, I should be able to say that 811 meters of new sewer pipe, 400 millimeter diameter GRP pipe, is being laid using the community in Makokoba that was selected to work in that project. And once that layer project is commissioned, it will unblock all the sewers that were affecting 2,000 properties in Makokoba. This is another success story. And also to mention that under the same funding, we have a success story in that the model that we have been using under this funding is currently being profiled to be shared with other cities and to be working as a model of how you eat the elephant bit by bit and still realize benefits and results for the residents of the city of Bulawayo. This is a first in the country under the same funding. Another funding is GIZ, where equipment has been bought, and I should mention the procurement of a new jetting equipment recently donated to the city of Bulawayo, which will actually assist the sewer teams in improving the response to clearing of sewers. I'll then also highlight a number of projects that are currently ongoing under private-public partnership with private contractors. This is also another new model that the city adopted. And just to mention a few, we have Mkanini, where 155 stands have since been commissioned in May of 2022. Another one, Mkanini again, 267 stands that are soon to be commissioned in Country Park. There is progress on 91 stands in Norwood Tracks, just a bit close to Country Park. 2,045 stands are expected to be commissioned once complete. Mkanini Phase 4, there are 730 stands, and Mkanini Phase 4 and Lot 3, 272 stands are now at design stage, and another 743 stands also in Mkanini are at design stage. Finally, the projects that we have put on the table for for future planning, I'll mention, not in detail, but to highlight some of these. One key project that we are looking forward to is the Lake Gwai Shangani project. Once the project is commissioned, we expect to receive in total of 220 megalitres of water. Under phase one of this project, when the Country Park water treatment plant is complete, 80 megalitres of water will be pumped to Magwekwe Reservoir, eliminating problems of water in that area, totally supplying water to 36% of the city. Under phase two, we expect about 140 megalitres of water to be delivered to Criterion. And once we have 140 megalitres of water under phase two, we can forget about water shedding in the city into the extent of about 50 years to come in the horizon. So it totally then assists and remove any water challenges in the city. Other projects that we have put on the table is the upgrading of the Inyankoni booster station. The Inyankoni booster station pumps water from Inyankoni Dam to Nema Waterworks. Once this is upgraded, the water that is currently being delivered will almost double. And there is also the inline booster stations from Chabezi to Nema. This should also improve output of raw water delivery into the city. Another key project is the upgrading of the remaining Sauser pumps that we have at Nema and Fenio. Remember, we mentioned the new flow-safe pumps that were installed under the African Development Bank. We also do have some other older pumps that we still feel are in need of upgrading. And once these are put in as new pumps, the city will have enough capacity to deliver water. In case of any breakdown, we know we have got other pumps on standby to continuously give water to the city. Another quick win is the construction of a bypass, which was an analysis that was discovered when designs were done under the African Development Bank for Criterion. It's a quick win. If 500,000 US dollars is received, another additional bypass will improve water delivery to the city. There is also the linking of Criterion water treatment plant with Tuli through the construction of a new booster station that will deliver water from Criterion to Tuli. It's linking to the Lake Gwai Shangani project. Once that 140 megalitres is delivered to Criterion, there is expansion of the Clearwater Reservoir, the construction of a booster station, deliver water to Tuli, and that stabilizes water to the eastern areas. The duplication of a dedicated line to Magwekwe from Criterion, and also the construction of another reservoir to supply water to Rangemore will also then be added on as an additional project in the near future, so that as the city expands, there are no water challenges in the city. All these things are all contained in the Water and Wastewater Master Plan, and the city is already envisaging the need to look and consider all these projects. So funding, once it's secured, all these can be put into play. The upgrading of the Thorngrove sewage treatment plant, it's in two parts. Once it's treated, it's upgraded. Thorngrove has the capacity to produce reclaimed water. We need reclaimed water for our stadiums. One of these is Baba Fields. We need water for Baba Fields. We need water for our Centenary Park and our other smaller parks dotted around the city, and for our children in the different schools to keep the city green. It's also in line of a smart and a transformative city. Usage of secondary water and avoid using very expensive potable water for irrigating our stadiums and our grounds. The rehabilitation of major outflow sewers. Masai River is smelling. We need to upgrade this. We are alive to these challenges, and plans are in place once funding is secured to upgrade all these collapsed old pipes that convey sewerage to some of our treatment works. This we are very much aware, and once funding is secured, we'll have all these problems eliminated. Another project is the non-revenue water reduction. Non-revenue water talks to losses in the city in terms of water. Continuous monitoring of non-revenue water through installation of new meters, household connections, pipe upgrading is also one key strategy that needs to be considered and is continuously being done through different funding that are being received in the city. With those remarks, I would like to say thank you for sharing with you the services that are provided in the city under the water branch. For more information, you can visit the city website, and you can also visit the offices at Tower Block, 50th floor, where our qualified engineers and officers are ready to assist and help you. Thank you.